Here we are again, ready for another show. Thanks for coming, Rich. Today we're with the boss man, Alan Beal of Armed Forces Brewery or Brewing Company. That's the exact name. Um, they do beer, all kinds. I'm not much of a beer guy, sorry, but they do all kinds of different different blends. I don't know what the word is,
Yeah.
but I know that the expert in the field is here, and he'll be able to tell us what we want to know about beer, and also about things that are going on, what they do, those kinds of things with veterans, first responders, and to help you. Take it away, Alan.
Oh, why don't we hear Rich?
Can you hang on? We can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear Rich.
Oh, Rich, we can't hear you.
Oh, we heard him a moment ago.
Yeah, I was. Yep.
I heard you for a second.
Yeah, I'd tell him that he's got these mics
Using
and
it.
stuff that he gets from overseas, and they don't function correctly.
Oh no.
We need to get subtitles for him, huh?
Yeah.
Just have him curse you out the whole time.
Yeah, hey, Rich, if you can
No.
hear us, your mic isn't working. Anyway,
Nope.
so
Can you
Alan,
hear us? Can you hear us? He can hear us.
we
We
can
just
hear
can't
you.
hear him.
Anyway, Alan,
Go ahead.
thanks for coming on and finding the time. Sorry about the computer thing.
No, not a big deal at all.
And it took a
happens.
veteran who's a computer expert to be able to fix it in like a couple minutes. So that worked out. So, Armed Forces Brewery, how long have you
Yep.
guys been up and running and doing your thing?
Yeah, so I started. I didn't serve. By the way, first I want to thank you guys for your service to your communities and our country. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a civvy. I grew up in the military community, though. My grandfather was in the U.S. Navy during World War II. My dad was a career Air National Guard and Air Force. My brother just retired after 49 years of public service in the Air Force and Department of Homeland Security. And I've got a couple uncles that are Marines and an uncle and about 3 cousins that graduated from West Point. So we've been through a lot of deployments as a family, and growing up in the military community and being a food and beverage industry consultant. I had a couple guys come to me in Washington, D.C. at a party, and they said, "Hey, we got an idea for a beer company that makes craft beer to tribute the Naval Academy service in Annapolis."
Right.
Because a lot of people go to Annapolis for the weekend and hang out and they go tour the Naval Academy and other restaurants and all that stuff. And I said, well, gee, I know beer and I know the military. So, okay. And about 2 weeks later, I ended up moving to Annapolis, Maryland, because I started making beer names, creating beer names. And I put it out on social media, and it was just like a denial of service attack. Veterans from all over the country, even the world, active duty in Guam and Japan were contacting me via social media saying, "Where's this beer? I want it now. How do I get it?" So
yeah, I want it now.
Yep. But they were also coming at us we led with the Navy. We led with a beer called Special Hops IPA, which is a tribute to Navy SEALs. And the Marines were coming to us. The Army soldiers were coming. Airmen were coming. Where's our beer? You know, so we had to go back and rebrand it into Armed Forces Brewing Company so we could put all the beers under one umbrella. So that's
Do you happen to
sort of
have do you happen to have Space Force beer?
we don't yet, but we are gonna make one down the road here. We
I
gotta
bet
we
it's
gotta
out of
be
this
all
world,
inclusive, you know.
right? I bet it's out of this world.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep. So that's
Hey,
kind of how
Rich,
we started, and we're doing a law enforcement beer as well, coming out soon. One side of it is blue with a law enforcement shield, and the other side is red with kind of a firefighter EMT type shield on it.
is
And
the red side a little bit smaller than the blue side?
yeah, yep. And we've done when we had our tap room, we've done some beers that tribute law enforcement as well. So
Wow.
and we use our success to do a lot. We do a lot of veteran and law enforcement outreach as well
Oh, cool.
through our success.
What type of outreach are you guys involved in?
Well, I was just telling you guys before we launched on here, we shipped about 20 pallets of beer down to Eagle Pass, Texas, and we made a beer wall down there. We added on to one of Governor Abbott's walls, or whatever, and because
Right.
we were kind of making a statement that, hey, let's take some of this money that the country has, and let's get our vets out, and let's get our vets out of homelessness, and let's help them with mental health. And we're spending all this money on illegal immigration when we could be taking care of people at home. And we ended up going over to we fed along with the America Project and a couple nonprofits called TAP. We fed about 800 Texas National Guard troops and
Oh, right
uh,
on.
Border Patrol agents, and then we did the same thing. We went over to Cochise County in your guys' state,
Yeah.
and talked to a lot of state senators there, and went down to Cochise County and fed another 800 sheriff deputies down there, and we actually got to do a ride along down there as well.
Yeah, it's well, prior to this administration, it was
Yeah,
pretty scary down there. Pretty
yeah,
pretty bad. Lots of drugs coming across the border. I used to hunt down there near Arivaca, and it's unbelievable. The mess, the trash
yeah.
in the desert. It's crazy.
Curly, it was so bad down there. First, when Eagle Pass, and we posted a bunch of video. We were finding antihistamine bottles and Plan B packets, and clothes everywhere. It looked like the Holocaust, to tell you the truth. That's the
Yep.
best way I can explain it. Mounds of clothes and shoes there, and drugs, and we had the Rio Grande separating us and the cartels. You could see them in an observation post in a house. But when we got to Cochise County, they were a football field down a road with AKs watching us. That
Ooh.
got down in Arizona, that kind of
Oh yeah.
put
I
the
mean
hair on my arm
they
coming.
have no issue coming into Arizona. Not
Yeah,
at all.
no,
And there's been reports of the Mexican military coming into Arizona, escorting cartel members running drugs.
yeah,
And where I worked, like I was telling you, down by Sun Lakes area, that's the south end of Maricopa County, and it's ugly. We had stolen vehicles going south,
yeah,
so they can run people and drugs across the border. And then there's a section of the border down there that had that I believe it's a Tohono O'odham tribe. It's reservation land that actually crosses into Mexico, and law enforcement in Arizona don't have any authority on the reservation. So
yeah,
these guys are using the reservation to run this stuff, and you'll get stolen trucks. At that time, it was F-250 diesels running south, and the ones coming north are bringing people or drugs, and the ones going south would be bringing money. So it was pretty active, and I imagine it still is. They're getting creative with tunnels and different things. So,
Hey, Rich, check your phone.
Rich, check your phone.
Yeah, we were. I was in the hotel, and we were actually supposed to go on a night ride at about 12:30 at night with some sheriff deputies there, and ride along with them at that time.
Right.
And I was waiting in the hotel, and they called me back, and they said, "I'm sorry, boss says you can't go out with us. No civilians." And I went, "Well, what happened?" And the guy was really nice about it. He was telling me what happened. A woman had a igloo cooler, trying to sneak it across the border, and of
Mhm.
course, there's drugs in it. And the border patrol caught her, or I don't. They didn't catch her, but they she was alerted that they were watching her. She ended up
Right.
leaving the cooler there and then running it back on the other side of the border, and they were telling us, "Oh yeah, she's probably dead. That the cartels probably killed her."
Yeah. They
For leaving the drugs there.
we had a deal. A friend of mine I used to hunt a lot with, he was a canine officer with Chandler PD. He was down there by him or with another guy, and they were javelina hunting right at the border. And he said they were sitting in bushes waiting for javelina to come down a wash, and this guy comes across out of the bushes with a backpack on. And at that time, marijuana was illegal here. It
Yeah.
still is to bring it into the country like that. Well, the guy brought it in. They didn't want to get shot, so they stood up out of the bush. The guy dropped the backpack, ran back into Mexico, and there's a few 100 pounds of marijuana in the backpack. So it happens
Yeah.
every day. But on your thing, um, on your beer, what kind of beer do you got?
So we've got a really light lager. It's kind of your Bud Light alternative, if you will. It's
I was
called
hoping for a lager.
Preamble.
What's that?
I was hoping for a lager.
Yeah.
Ryan, he's a beer guy.
Are you?
Yeah, lager.
Yeah. It's called Preamble. It's a tribute to the Constitution and the oath that our service members take. It's super light. It's that all day, every day, real refreshing, real easy drinking. And then we have another lager called Cat Shot American Craft Lager. And it's got an aircraft carrier sitting on the can with a shooter, and on the deck, the shooter that's what does he do? He
The catapult.
Yeah,
they lock in the catapult and push the jet off the.
Oh yeah.
And it's got that Yingling vibe to it. It's about 5.5 ABV, and it's just a really great beer as well. And then we've got our special hops IPA on the can. You got about three frogmen on the front of the can there on our special hops IPA. It's our biggest seller. And then we've got Grunt double IPA.
Has that got like dirt in it?
Yeah.
It comes with a small bag of dirt.
Yeah. It's high octane. It's got 9.5. It's got a 9.5 ABV, but it's a double IPA, and it's just absolutely delicious as well. And we have won about 4 awards so far for our beer in Virginia and Florida. And
do they sell your beer in other places, like way out here in the sticks in Arizona?
So we want to scale this to a national brand. Walmart came and picked us up. Then we got into Publix and HEBs and a lot of chains. We're on a national plan with the military exchange stores as well, AFES and Nexcom and Coast Guard Exchange. And we're trying to scale out west your way. But in the meantime, people can go, they'll be able to go online. We've got a couple fulfillment centers we're about to cut a deal with where you can go online and order it there online and have it shipped to your state. They ship to all 50 states. It's very rare. You have to have licensing in all the states to ship beer there.
Right. There's some that I like different bourbons, and there's some that the guys can have because of licensing that they can sell here in Arizona, and there's some that you just can't get. And there was one that I guess is out of Kentucky, Thin Blue Line, a bourbon I wanted to try, and I can't find it anywhere in Arizona, nowhere. But I never let it stop me. I'm gonna keep trying. So,
spirits and wine are easy to buy online and ship. The beer industry is beholden to the 3-tier system, which is you got to use a distributor for everything. You got to use that Budweiser or that Miller Lite distributor. You know what I mean? Right. So it's a little different for us, but we're hoping to get into all 50 states.
Well, that's kind of funny that you have to use a distributor when it comes to beer, and it's almost like what's that guy's name? He's a Fox News dude all the time.
Like Waters or
no, the guy that does, like, he's not on there so much anymore. He's kind of a libertarian.
Oh.
And he Mark Levine.
No. He does things like you ever wonder why he starts out like conversations like that, and he talks about how businesses keep other businesses from being successful.
Like Lev or something.
What was his name? It's right there, but he talked about it, and I can see that a lot of places don't like competition, and they use.
Don't we know it?
Yeah. And if you sell it at like military PXs and stuff, now that I have a rating for the VA finally, I can go to Luke Air Force Base and see if I can find it.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of nice. I'd like to try. I'm more of a Guinness guy when I drink beer, so it's got to be stout, heavy, and
we're going to be manufacturing a stout, a really good one, very soon. Very soon. We're going to put one out. We've got a product. It's a coffee porter. It's called Death from Above. It's a tribute to bomber wings in the Air Force.
Right.
Coffee beans, coming down. Woo! But it's really, really good. And we got our beer into Talladega Speedway for the Geico 500. And our preamble sold out, but we had a activation tent, and we had all of our beers there for everybody to try. And we had some veterans come over at like 7 o'clock in the morning, knocking on our trailer, going, "Hey, can we get some of that coffee porter?"
Yeah,
that dark beer. So
that's funny.
Yeah,
and vets are kind of like that, where we tend to be a little on the cheap side. So we'll go to Costco for lunch. The buffet.
Sure.
Try this, try that.
Give it all a try.
Yeah, we go in with trays. Here's a tray. Sure. I'll take a little of that, a little of that. Now hold that broccoli.
You come across something you like, and you keep getting it.
Yeah, you go back, change the hat around, switch. Anyway,
the Costco.
Yeah, so you've been doing a lot of outreach to vets and organizations, I'm assuming, and then like law enforcement stuff, first responders. Were you guys open for business during 9/11 or no?
No, we weren't. I'm sorry. You know what? You asked me that too. I started developing the concept about 2015. We launched our first beer at December of 2017, and then it became Armed Forces Brewing Company in 2019, and here we are today.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's kind of the timeline of how long we've been operational. But we didn't have a brewery. We were contract brewing through a third party. We went and bought a brewery in Norfolk, Virginia in 2023.
Oh, right on. And
But we're
like I
not there
was
anymore.
what's that?
But we're not there anymore.
What
In
happened?
Norfolk.
What's that?
We are selling the brewing facility in Norfolk, Virginia, and moving. We're relocating the
Move.
company.
Oh.
We had an opposition group that hated our guts there.
Oh, let me guess.
Oh,
They're
they
the
didn't like
ones
the
that are
competition.
they're the ones that are in
Yeah.
LA right now protesting.
Yeah.
So,
Oh no.
I get it. So
Yep.
if you get it, we're still somewhat free in Arizona.
Yeah.
Not free like free like doesn't cost you anything, but we've had a few gun companies move here. I know Magpul went to Wyoming. They pulled out of Colorado and went to Wyoming, and a few other ones did. But we still got quite a few. We have Ruger and stuff. So
Sure.
I'm sure you could find a home in Arizona doing it. Absolutely.
To open up that western United States area, we're looking for a contract brewing partner. So I mean, Arizona's on the
Well, I
list.
just happen to know somebody.
Do you? I like
know
that.
a guy. I know a guy who knows a guy,
There you go.
and you can go online and look him up. The guy that started it is a Navy vet, and it's Grand Canyon Brewery.
Really?
All his beers and distillery, because they do vodka and bourbon and different things as well. They operate in Williams, Arizona, and they got some really good stuff. And that might be something for you to reach out to on them, because he's a Navy vet, and I
Love
can't
it.
remember his name. I think I met him once or twice over there, but they have a little restaurant, and it might be an in for you if they're going to be, they're willing to partner up with you to bring it out here to the West. So
I will. I'll get you offline on that.
oh
I'll
yeah,
get you offline.
absolutely.
We're going to be doing another line of beers as well. Brewing technology has come such a long way right now, and you can now. You guys might have tried them or not, but you can now drink true zero alcohol beer.
Oh.
Nah, that's not worth it.
Come out with it. Bud has come out with it, and another beer, couple other beer companies have come out with it. Well, we're going to come out with a zero beer line as well. We've actually taken our preamble lager.
What is that one going to be named after? The Air Force?
I know a guy actually who he drinks non-alcoholic beer every time, because like he's one of our old band members.
Yeah.
And he had to do away with drinking, I guess. Like
Yeah.
he couldn't control himself, kind of thing. But he always loved like the taste of beer, and like, he likes, popping one open when he's hanging with the guys and stuff.
Back when I was a kid, they called it near beer.
Near beer.
I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that, but wow, when I was a little kid out here, we had a brewing company in Tempe that was A1 beer, and they brewed it, did everything right there, and you could buy 6 cases of that stuff everywhere, and it wasn't really that good, but it was at least Arizona beer. Like Pittsburgh has their own brand,
Sure.
and different places do, and they usually aren't as good as these other fancier ones, so
Rich,
but
we
yeah.
need to get you on here. I can't hear you at all.
Oh, Rich, yeah.
pop out of the studio. I don't know.
Turn it on, turn it off. That's the end all computer thing. Believe
Pop
me.
out and then pop back in the
I was
studio.
gonna have him call my phone and just like relay his
Oh,
phone audio
Rich.
into my mic.
Rich, call his phone. I sent you the number.
Ooh.
Dial that, and he'll put you on speaker.
And just
he'll hold it next to the microphone here. That works.
And just to tell you guys, the non-alcoholic beer space is booming right now. It's booming.
Actually, that's a good idea.
I believe it. Actually,
you could actually do something with the Space Force and zero beer.
Zero beer.
Zero grab,
Well,
zero al.
Zero gravity beer.
We've got veterans and law enforcement officers that should not be drinking alcohol because they might have PTSD, they might be on medications or whatever, and we'd like them to be able to have a beer with the rest of us.
Exactly.
So you can now get all the alcohol out where it's 0.00 alcohol instead of 0.05. Or
you imagine that? You're driving around down here. We used to, back in the 60s, 70s, Rich, I don't know if he was here then, but they had the brown bag law. You could go through a drive-through liquor store, buy a can of beer for the ride home.
Yeah.
But they changed it once everybody started moving here. So ranchers and cowboys couldn't go buy their beer and have one beer on the way home when it's 120 degrees. Yeah, now, can you imagine being a cop? You see a guy drinking a beer, driving down the road, and you go and you pull him over, and he's like smiling at you. Step out of the car, please. And he
Heineken led with that, Curly. They put out a commercial for their zero beer of some guy in a Ferrari and a police officer pulling him over, and he's drinking a Heineken Zero.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it's like what they did at the sheriff's office. I do a little of this.
Yeah. Yep.
And
nasty habit.
They passed. They had some internal policy that if you use tobacco, your health insurance went up. Whether you use it. Well, why I started this was back then I would have a cigar and a whiskey, and I'd sit in a bar and have one shot of whiskey and smoke a cigar. Well, then they stopped smoking in bars. The bars took a hit for a long time, and then non-smokers started showing up. Well, I smoked a cigar at home, would take like a can of peaches, pour most of the syrup out, fill it back up with Jim Beam or something. Take my time. Then I would smoke the cigar, and they told me, well, it's an integrity issue. If you use tobacco, I smoke one cigar every like couple months. And he goes, well, that's an integrity issue if you say you don't use it to save that $200 a pay period for insurance. So I go, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to start doing this. And I did. And what was funny about it was, it's funny how it works. In the military, it's the same, and Rich knows it too. Whenever you figure out a way around the system and you're taking advantage of it, next thing you know, they plug that hole too. Well, I would use tobacco if I'm out on the street talking to a bad guy and I wanted to get my point across. And you know the use of force continuum. Remember that, Rich? Nod your head.
I just saw his little private chat. I didn't know this little program did that. So.
Oh yeah, it's down there on the bottom.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I would be talking to him, and I knew they were lying to me about something, and I go, look, right now, and then I'd lay into it, and then I'd use spit on the ground as an exclamation point to what I was saying. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Oh.
Rich is on the phone finally. Rich is in the house. Hey.
Yeah. Get to the right volume there.
Is he there?
There.
Yeah, there we go. Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Yeah. So tobacco was my exclamation point when I would be standing out there doing FI cards on a bad guy, and I knew who he was, and he was lying to me about his name or whatever. I go, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to tell me the truth now, or we're going to take this conversation somewhere else. Boom. Okay, okay, okay. And then they would tell me the truth. Well, then they changed that rule that you can't use chewing tobacco or tobacco in uniform. So what I did along the lines of the zero beer, I actually played a joke on them. I got a can of Zin or whatever it is, the non-tobacco chewing tobacco, the non-tobacco. And I was standing there in front of and you know the guy I'm talking about, he's retired now. He was kind of a dick at the agency, but I would take it, put it in my mouth right in front of him. He goes, "You're not allowed to do that." "Oh, yeah, I am." "No, you're not." I go, "Yes, I am." "Oh, you're violating policy big time." And then I show him, I pull the can out and show him that it was like Mr. Jack's. It was basically a tea mix tobacco type thing, and it wasn't tobacco. And then he felt like about that big after he was done. And then I used the can later. Don't tell nobody, Rich. I used the can later. The empty Mr. Jack's tobacco, whatever, or tobacco-less tobacco, whatever they called it. And I would take skull pouches, throw them in that can, and carry that can around everywhere I go. I go, hey, hey. But you find you find the way around the system.
Yeah, you beat the system.
Yep. Anyway, Rich, when we were trying to read your lips, you seem to have a lot to say. So I'm going to zip it. And now you could take over there, Mr. Co-host, now that we got you on cell phone.
You can hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep.
A bit of a delay, I think.
Nope.
It'll probably be a little bit of a delay.
It'll be like one of those foreign films where they dub it with English. Go ahead.
No, I was just chiming in every now and then when you guys were in conversation.
Oh.
But I wanted Alan to speak a little bit more about his outreach for the veterans. Because in the past, there was a veteran that he assisted me with.
Oh.
And is doing great today.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Without naming names, unless he wants you to name his name.
No, we'll leave all names out.
Names are changed to protect the innocent, and except when they're guilty, we'll give them their name. But okay,
Well,
go ahead, Alan.
It just so happens that we have an advisory board and some pretty interesting veterans involved in the company. Rob O'Neill, who killed Osama bin Laden, is a partner in the company, and he's a shareholder. And we've got an advisory board of some Navy SEALs, some soldiers, and a Marine, and some airmen as well. And you know, we from the very beginning when we started this company, and we knew we wanted to get a program together to do some veteran outreach. You know, my dad had major PTSD and alcoholism. I got an uncle that was a Purple Heart recipient, came back from Nam, and you know, he went homeless for a while as well. So you know, I'd been around some of that stuff, and meeting and putting together an advisory board and meeting Rob O'Neill and some other SEALs and hanging out in that group. We did a lot of veteran outreach with mental health and with homelessness. Those were the two things that really bothered me as well. When you have 40,000 homeless veterans on the streets of America, you know, we're losing 22 vets a day on the average to suicide. It it prompts you to really get involved and do something to give back and do what you can to with this prevention. We teamed up with some other organizations called Code of Vets and the John Daly Major Ed Heart of a Lion Foundation, and really worked to get some and donate not only money but our manpower, our time, our resources to get some veterans out of homelessness, to prevent some veterans from going homeless.
Right.
You know, the way I met Rich is you know,
he was homeless.
We had a
Really?
yeah, he was homeless.
I kind of thought that might have been the case when he was over at the sheriff's office.
Wow.
You know, some of the
Come on, I was looking
a lot of the
pretty good.
guys on our a lot of the guys on our advisory board have major PTSD, and I know 2 or 3 of them that are going down to Mexico for the ibogaine treatment right now. The state of Texas just committed $50 million for research and development into the ibogaine treatment, and they're the first state to do that, I think, and that's huge for veterans and law enforcement officers with PTSD. You know,
I had a couple shows on that topic a while back, and it's on my Rumble channel. I had a guy, Adam Myers, who was on the show. He was a cop up in Wisconsin, and he was involved in a critical incident, and guys don't think it could happen to them. That's the last thing on your mind when you're in the military or you're a cop. It's the last thing that's on your mind. And he was involved in a shooting at I believe it was a Walmart there, where a lady was going after people with a hatchet that she got off the shelf and was attacking.
Wow.
And he got there. She came after him, and he did what he was trained. He stopped the threat. Boom. And it affected him. He didn't realize it. And he was talking about alcohol, drugs, even sex, and just different things. He didn't want to go anywhere, lived in a shell. And he got past that by doing getting some help. And there was he does a thing in Wisconsin called now I might be switching it around a little bit, but it's stop the stigma, stop the threat. He has a Facebook page, a website, and he talks about it, and he's very candid about what happened, what he went through, how he beat it. He's back in law enforcement in Wisconsin.
Wow.
And he'd be somebody for you guys to talk to about it from the law enforcement side. And then Rich I got an email from somebody, and then that was about the time Rich came on as co-host. It was Under the Shield, correct? Is that the name?
Under the Shield.
Yeah, it's an organization that's been around that they don't ask questions, and it's like peer-to-peer type of thing where you can go in there after experiencing some kind of critical incident or something and talk to them and be able to get through that time in your life, because it can actually really affect everything in your life, your family, your children, drugs, alcohol, everything. And between Adam and then the Under the Shield folks, it'd be something to get, because part of the problem is that when you're in law enforcement, I'm assuming it's the same way in the military. It's this personal thing. You go, well, if I talk to somebody about it, they'll pull me off the street. They'll take my gun away from me, and then I might end up getting fired. I can live with it, But it isn't the case. They really need to get to get assistance. And, organizations like that are out there that are willing to help people. And you don't have to lose your job over it. You will lose.
I have a question.
What's that?
I have a question for Alan when you're done.
Yeah. But I mean, that's something that, and then what was her name? Susan, I think, from,
Simons.
what's that?
Susan Simons.
Yeah. She was talking about working on legislation so that we could get something done in that regard where people can get treatment. Chewing tobacco. So they can get treatment.
Spelled it wrong.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll send a drone.
I'll wash it down.
So, Alan, I wanted to ask what he was just talking about. If there's a veteran out there that needs help, wants help, is there a website they go to ask questions, submit their name, or how do they get in touch with your board?
Oh, for us. So that's a great question. They can go, I'm trying to think, special operators. There's the Special Operators Transition Foundation that Rob is a part of.
Okay.
Ours is the AFBC Veterans Foundation. Okay. We're coming out with a whole new program. I've got a brand new director for our nonprofit, and we're revamping our website and our program, outreach program with this. So we're getting ready to launch that here in the next couple months. We're gonna be able to do even more good work and effective work. You hit the nail on the head, though. When you guys were talking, I'm on LinkedIn. Kyle Reyes with Law Enforcement Today is a kind of a buddy of mine.
I've been following those guys for many years.
Yeah, he's a big influencer out there on LinkedIn. And did you guys read or hear about the 4 sheriff's deputies that committed suicide over in Harris County, Texas in 2 weeks' time?
I saw something on that. Yeah, and it's happening everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it's not just the cops and doing it. It's also first responders and dispatchers.
Yep.
Yes.
Because people really don't get how it affects you.
Yeah.
And
totally. And I'm a little bit what I'm really excited about is Texas putting that $50 million there for research and development on the ibogaine treatment. That's just one little, thing about it. But we're over here talking right now about red dye number 4 or something like that. Let's eliminate red dye number 4. We're going to save the kids when we have a major mental health crisis in this country. That's what everybody should be talking about right now, not red dye number 6.
See, one of the things too, as a cop, and we talked about it also, Rich, in previous shows and stuff, was you run into a vet that's going through a PTSD, a vet in crisis.
Yeah.
And you're in uniform showing up with the red lights on and, hey, buddy, come here, yelling at the guy. And you don't know what trigger might be there because of it. And you put yourself in danger, how you respond to those things. And that's what we were talking about with Susan about that program I was mentioning before in San Diego called PERT, Psychological Emergency Response Team, plainclothes cops, interagency agreements, psychiatrists, mental health professionals, counselors. They would go out to a call like that and actually help, actually get involved and help and fix it, because when we had 22 a day, and I think somebody said it's a little bit more than that right now. It's
yeah.
One
Sad.
is too many. One is way too many. And we have to do something. And it goes to what I've always said, and Rich has heard it here. You know, it's almost like politicians, the government, they don't give a shit. They just want to, they got their own pet little projects. It's going to take us fixing the shit. It's going to take companies like yours,
We're in the pot.
companies like Black Rifle Coffee, different places like
Yeah.
that, to be able to come out and say, we got to fix this, because the people we elect aren't doing the job of fixing it. And, you know, and it's our responsibility. I look at it that way. I'm retired law enforcement. I'm a vet. No, I'll go out of my way for somebody like that. I'll go
Yeah.
out of my way for a vet. I'll go out of my way for a cop in a bad way. So we need to fix it, and make it so that it's easier for them to come to somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Even veteran mental health advocates out there proselytizing about, oh, you know, we need mental health, better resources for veterans that are committing suicide. Mike Day is a great example of that. Mike Day was a Navy SEAL, and every year we sponsor the Bone Frog Open in Virginia. It's a golf tournament. We raise money for SEAL families and to keep the SEALs who have made the ultimate sacrifice, their names alive and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So you have all these Navy SEALs congregating for a golf tournament for a couple days, and Kid Rock comes, and John Daly, the golfer, comes, and all that good kind of stuff. Well, Mike Day was a Navy SEAL, and he was a veteran advocate, you know, trying to help SEALs that were having major PTSD problems, and you know, we're thinking about, you know, doing it. And the next year, Michael Day, you know, committed suicide.
It's
So
like you know, that could be one of those things where you go out of your way to help people because you have an issue that you're not addressing yourself.
exactly. We need
And
to put programs around the country that work, duplicate them, and get the federal government and state governments in tune to this, what's going on.
yeah, well,
I hate to say they don't care, but their actions speak louder than words, and they really don't care.
yeah,
Right.
I know. When I was still a sergeant down there, and Rich knew the story about that Iraqi war vet that shot himself in front of our helicopter.
Yeah.
And they went to rescue him. He stayed out all night. There were red flags all over the place, giving away his dogs, doing this, doing that. And nobody was paying attention. And had only one person interacted with him, I bet he'd be alive today, because somebody cared. You know, it's just unbelievable that people don't pay attention to stuff. And Susan was talking about it, training for family members, different things. And, you know, it's kind of a sad thing, because when you get out of the military, I think they're a little better about it now. If you're a combat vet or a SEAL or special operations, you get out, they give you a period of time to decompress. They talk things over with you now and that kind of thing. They didn't do that before, and they don't do it for law enforcement. Not at all. And
I've got something.
Yes.
what's that? Rich?
I've got something.
Oh, yeah. You got to get something like that.
They must include law enforcement in this also. They have, not just veterans, they have to start including law enforcement officers in this as well.
Connections is going to be in a little.
We had a little bit of a connection thing. I got Starlink here. You would think that it'd be moving, but could be Microsoft and those computer nerds kind of pissing me off intentionally.
I'll probably just switched from one satellite to another.
Oh, Anyway,
what I wanted to say, in today's police academy, they need to have a block of instruction because the last 10, 15 years of the military vets we've had returning, there is no training for these officers to have that crisis intervention approach.
right.
Instead of treating these guys just like business out there, they've got to understand what this individual may be going through.
Right.
Have a different approach.
We had one when I was a sergeant. We had one that was in the Higley area, and I was fortunate enough to have 4 vets on my squad. So wherever they were, I'd say, "Hey, go take that call, will you?" And they go down and they take care of it, because who better to talk to a vet than a vet, or a combat vet talking to another combat vet? And it's a reality that people are just afraid to face. And I think that we need additional training in that area for law enforcement, also for firefighters, because some medical calls are directly related to that. So anyway,
I think when I got out of Iraq the first time, we they put us through this like hour-long course for when because I was like, oh man, they deployed me to Iraq in like less than 4 years. I'm getting out of here.
yeah,
I didn't want to re-up. So I got out, and they gave you like this one little like TAPS thing where they give you an hour-long course, and they mostly talk about, okay, you get a couple of cool, benefits, like because you're going to be a veteran now, and you can sign up for these programs for education and yada yada. And then like while you're blinking and you're dozing off for a second, they're like, and if you need any mental health, they're gonna read this thing and go, and then they just kind of like they don't really like, they kind of want to pass by it because they just want to just like,
it's like the fine print. It's the fine print.
They didn't really want to go over it.
Yeah.
They wanted to like, okay, if everything's okay, maybe they'll walk out of the building and they won't blow their head off.
Yeah.
If you don't address it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So they close their eyes.
Yeah.
They don't really like, they're not going to really touch it if they don't have to.
Yeah. So everybody that goes through it, and I would probably say, and we talked about this on the other shows too, and you can't hammer it home enough. A lot of law enforcement, after 25, 30 years doing the job, you see a lot of stuff. And that stuff is in there. What did she call it? A garbage bag. You put it in that garbage bag. Yeah. And it's the same thing. You don't know when it's going to come out. And it causes all these issues that affect your life, your health, everything. And it needs to be addressed. And it's like, and especially if you're a retired cop and you're not doing anything, you're just sitting on your porch watching the news and the world blow up, sitting there thinking you can't do anything. And that stuff's bad. It's bad to do that. You got to keep busy. You got to do shit. Like the show here, doing this show, getting the word out, or other things, hunting, fishing. Just be active. Be at the point where you're so busy, you don't have time for anything.
I tell you, for me, though, a little bit of beer went a long way.
Oh,
hey,
it worked for me.
I think we've proven that the service dog program works for veterans with PTSD. Okay,
absolutely.
If Susan's program works, then the federal government and state government should be taking money, feeding that program and that organization that works, and duplicating it everywhere.
And instead of sending that money over to Syria for gender studies and shit. I mean, come on.
You're like, hey, Doge, what'd you do with some of those savings?
Yeah. I mean, It's crazy. And they all have when they get elected, they have their pet projects like the friggin' spotted gray minnow up in Northern California. So we can't get rid of this, and the farmers can't get water to. Oh, yeah, this stuff's ridiculous. It's funny.
Priorities.
We could sit here and solve the entire world's problems. Just the group of us, average people. We could solve the world's problems. But they don't listen to us. They have no intention of ever listening, ever. Like I was talking to you prior to the show, Eddie Gallagher, he went through pure hell, and he started that foundation for legal defense funds.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's beside the point. I've been emailing them to try to get him on the show too, because what he went through was unacceptable. And
absolutely,
it happens a lot. He has on his website, he has cops on there, cops that did what they were trained to do, did what they were supposed to do, and did it with the color of authority, and they're being thrown under the bus. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't, not at all.
No, it also doesn't help when your government is saying to defund the police around the country as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is just ridiculous stuff, and we haven't heard that for a while, and I hope we're way beyond that, and we'll never hear that again. That is one of those ridiculous things that came out of that era, if you will.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like, and those same people that want to defund you, when they get their house broken into or their car stolen, they call the cops. Oh,
they call you.
Yeah. Okay. I remember you. You're the guy that wanted to take our money away. Well, we really don't have enough people right now, and they're busy, so it'll be at least 4 hours before we get there.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, and I was going to tell you, Ryan here, who served in Iraq, he's keeping busy. He has a band. In case you ever need a band, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
For an Air Force guy.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Curly.
But he's played at.
If you're not Curly, you're not cool.
That's it.
Haven't you played at, like, tell them where you played at, like that place, that resort or something?
Oh, we've played everywhere in northern Arizona. Like that one that you're probably thinking of is over called Topak 66.
Yeah,
it's like a big, huge pool resort on the Colorado River.
Yeah.
Kind of bordering California and Arizona. But we've played down in, like, all kind of more or less the northern Arizona, anywhere from like Flag and Prescott, Chino, Kingman, and our little tiny hidden towns here in the little desert that we live in, Ash Fork and Seligman.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get a show over at Peach Springs here soon, and we're looking for a show over at Cottonwood, but I don't know, they got some weird energy over there right now, so but yeah, we're a band is called Stainless Steel. We play like a lot of like just 80s rock kind of stuff, like 60s, 70s, like classic rock, but we got like a couple albums worth of our own music that we play too for here and then. We got a new song that we have yet to reveal to the whole world called Legends of Rock. It's kind of like a type of like a rock you like a hurricane kind of song. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you ever need a band for an event that you're doing, here's your guy. He's a vet, and
Stainless steel.
Yeah. So
trying to do that old Eddie Van Halen thing,
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm gonna have to get some of your beer somehow, and if it's got to be one of them Smokey and the Bandit type deals, I bet, where we have to drive somewhere.
Westbound and down.
Yeah.
We're coming.
We have to go eastbound to get your beer. So
We're coming.
Yeah.
We're relocating the company to Texas, I think. So we're getting
Oh,
closer to you guys.
Centralized. There you go.
Yeah.
The free
and,
state of Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Oh.
thank you, Alan, for being with us today for sure.
Oh,
Thanks
yeah.
for having
It's a
thanks for
blast.
having me on, guys. It was awesome, and like I said, thanks so much for your service to our country too, guys.
Absolutely. It was an honor doing it. It really was.
We're-
And when you get out here to Arizona, you said you might be coming out this way.
Yeah. One of
us
our
a
board members is a Fallujah Marine, and he lives in your guys in Maricopa County, actually. So
Well,
I'm going to
see,
come visit.
yeah, have them get a hold of us. Come on up here.
Absolutely.
You know, if does he have a fifth wheel or a travel trailer or anything?
Probably. he's got
Tell him we'll
motors,
hook it up and come up
motorcycles,
here.
and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, that reminded me. Before we take off, there's a couple things. There's a hunting organization started by some colonel, and I don't know his name. It's they do they take veterans, combat vets, wounded warriors and stuff. They take them hunting here in Arizona to really cool places to go hunt elk and deer and antelope, different things. And if like you get drawn for an animal, but something comes up in your family and you can't go, you can donate the tag to them. Normally, Game and Fish doesn't let you transfer the tag, but for this organization, they allow you to transfer the tag. And they take you hunting and they guide you into an area. And I work Camp Navajo. It's when I first retired, I worked up there as a security supervisor on graveyard shift, only because I wanted to hunt there. But there was this one vet from Iraq that was coming in, and he got drawn for hunting at Camp Navajo, which is a military installation. And he'd come in the gate every time, and he was missing legs, but he had like a side-by-side he was using. Then he had this like mini track vehicle to get him off away from the side-by-side and to sit in a spot to go hunting. And then there was this one kind of a pain in the ass Air Force colonel that came in all the time. And we worked at the entrance, the guard shack, and that colonel would come in because he knew we drove around and checked the place out. He goes, "Hey, so where'd you see the big ones at this time?" Well, no, I really didn't see any. But that Army dude, I think he was Army, he came in and he was talking. I go, "Before you go back in here, let me show you on a map." I brought him in. I showed him. I said, "There's a big bull elk that's at least a 6x6 or more that's all by himself over here in this area. I've seen him there the last 4 nights. If I was a hunting guy, I'd drive over there, sit by this tree, and he'll walk right in front of you." And sure as shit, he got it. So it was pretty cool doing that. And then the other thing real quick, Guardian Garage, a plug out there for Craig Lewis and them. If you ever get a chance to look those guys up, they're totally a nonprofit type thing. Guardian Garage, they're out of Peoria. They do a garage where you can come in safely and, away from prying eyes and people, and you can work on hot rods, artwork. We did a show with them. Great guy. They have a really good thing. They had a
like
Vietnam
activities for veterans to come in and
veterans and first responders, and that Craig's a great guy, and all the guys down there, Jerry Glass, all them guys, they know their shit. And Craig's brother was a combat vet, who's helping with the garage, and it's getting a little bit of notoriety going on. They were on, of all things, the Kelly Clarkson show, but they're at least getting a little recognition. And they do that. They had a Vietnam vet, he was telling me, that was afraid, couldn't hold a job, was afraid to do anything, had a car that he wanted to work on, a hot rod type of thing. The guy's wife told him about this place. He brought his car in, started working on it. It doesn't cost him anything. And in some cases, they get the stuff done. We're part for it. They get it donated. They get powder coating, all these different things done. And they said that Vietnam vet now has a couple jobs. He's real outgoing, and
that's awesome.
And that's the kind of stuff we need to do. And you can look it up, Guardian Garage. So
very good.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. But when you get in Arizona, if you don't get a hold of us to come in here and sit in this chair,
we're going to keep in touch. Don't worry.
If you don't, I do have friends that are still working.
Oh God.
In like the highway patrol, DPS, sheriff's offices in different areas. I'll say, hey, we got these guys coming, and he's kind of snubbing me over here on the show. But it's a pleasure. It really is. And thanks, Rich. And thanks, Rich, for getting him on. And you guys are doing great work. I gotta do the Smoking the Bandit to get that beer, though.
Like I said, westbound and down.
Well, it's eastbound from here, so.
Yeah.
So,
Alan, again, thank you for everything you've done. Appreciate your time today.
Hang around when we close out. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Just hang on, and then go ahead, Ryan.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you, Alan, so very much.
All right, guys.
I think Curly